Okay, I haven't been doing this since April. I just checked. And I had asked to you if you would be interested into another video about who I am knitting with, because I've been knitting quite a lot as I'm on sick leave. So after surgery and everything, I may, if I have time, place a little life update and health update at the end of the video. And several of you had already said you were interested into another video. It's been over 6 months, so let's do this. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life, my knitting adventures, and for today, who I have been knitting with. My name is Isabelle, I am in Normandy, a gloomy Normandy. There was some sun this morning, so it's kind of late, but I did take advantage of the day where there was no rain, so I did go out for a walk and everything was tumbling down and I've been late. I'm just out of the shower, so I hope you will excuse my hair that will dry out during the video. And today it's going to be a regular video, but one of the ones I'm doing from time to time. As I am not working for now, I am on sick leave until the end of November, the end of this month. We are on November the 11th. I've been knitting a lot and I've been listening to a lot of music. So if you're interested into that, that's coming up. I will talk about a couple series. There are not many that I'm very interested in, and one movie. So I was not knitting at the movie, during the movie, because of course the room was all dark, but I was knitting before and after. So, okay, if that is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. So, as we are a knitting channel, what am I wearing? You've seen it quite recently, I think, but I'm wearing it a lot right now because it's the perfect piece to layer over. I have just a blue shirt. My Slipstravaganza by Stephen West. I will link the project down below so that you can see which yarn I use, because most of them, I guess, you can't find them again. Some of them are from Trellis, some of them are from Zakami yarn. And I did not knit it during the knit along or the mystery knit along because I'm kind of, I'm not much into knitting in a pattern that I have no idea what it will be. I do get the fun of that, and I do get the hype, and I do get the playful and happy banter around knitting all together a pattern we have no idea about what it's going to be. Not much for me, so I'm rather waiting for the pattern, the last clues to be published and see if I like it. And I did not like last year's, or it's okay, if you liked it, perfect, but I was not going to invest so much time into knitting it, and I'm not sure I like this year's Mystical either, which is finished, so it's not a mystery any longer. What I do like about this year's piece or shawl is the shape of it, and I love my Slipstravaganza also because of the shape, because of the colors, of course, but also because of the shape, because it sits very well on my shoulders, it doesn't budge too much, and it's just the perfect layer for this type of weather when you are inside. A little gloomy, it's not that cold, but it's not very warm, and there is no sun, and you want to be cheered up. That's the one. And as it is quite late, I'm not sure I will film two videos today. I was supposed to film two videos today because I may not have enough time for next week's video. We'll see all about that, and I will try to be knitting on my self-drafted sock while I'm talking to you. My intention, I've already talked about it, is to knit all of the rest of this little ball of Life in the Long Grass, a very, very beautiful yarn. I have a second ball that is 1 gram heavier, and I don't feel it in my bag. There it is. I have a second ball. Yes, that's the one. It's 1 gram heavier. So I knit everything, and I'm gonna try myself at Afterthought heels. So that's my plan, and it's the perfect piece to be knitting on because I don't have to really worry about anything. I'm counting rows with my row counters, so I can knit anywhere without having anything to take notes or anything. It's a small project. It's easy to pick up wherever I am because there is no way I can make any mistake. So that's the perfect one to be knitting on when I am doing other things, when I am outside of the house. This is the one project that I take with me when I'm outside of the house, and it's extremely convenient because I don't have to take any notes with me. Okay, so I guess I have to put it down so that I can show you what I've been listening as far as music when I was knitting. So I looked for my previous video. I did not check what was in there that much, and just checked when it was, and I think it was in April. I don't think I had any other in between. And I just, at a glimpse, caught that I did talk about David Gilmour last record, last piece, last CD that I got at the time, that he had published at the time, Luck and Strange. I really enjoy his music. He's so reassuring for me, so safe. It's the sound of my, teenage. I was, and I have been, a Pink Floyd fan since I was 13, when I got for Christmas money for a tape recorder and 2 tapes, and it was Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. And I've listened to them to death until they fell apart. I got the vinyl records, I got the CDs, and I've got the whole collection. And I have to say, and I've already said that for Pink Floyd, after Animals, I think it's kind of another story, and I liked it a little less. David Gilmour has revived in the last 10, 15, 20 years my love for Pink Floyd and for what he's doing, because I think I like his touch in the group. This is the one part I liked. I also liked a lot the early years, but that was also another era and another story, and not as easy to listen to. David Gilmour is very easy to listen to me. It sounds like home. It sounds like, this flavor of pastry that you can recall because this is the one you had when you were children and stuff like that. Things like that. Something that is reminiscent of your childhood or teenage, that is safe and enjoyable. He made a whole tour in Europe and in the US. He may have been with this group somewhere else. And something I had not really caught, but that did happen, his daughter, Romani, is on this record too. So she is a singer and she plays the harp, so she is in there too. And he published the CD and DVD about the recording of his show, his live show in Rome. So in the Colosseum, I think it's where it was recorded, at the Circus Maximus in Rome, so in Italy. So I've been listening to that one a lot, and when I say a lot, it's a lot. In the morning, what I've been doing, and this is also why I was a bit late this morning, is knit with my coffee, and I usually stay a bit longer than I should knitting with my morning coffee and with my breakfast. And I've been listening to this public recording a lot because there are most of the songs, if not all of them, from the Luck and Strange CD or album, with some safe Pink Floyd songs. You know, the last one is Comfortably Numb. Everybody is singing along. I'm singing along. I'm singing along on Wish You Were Here and everything. So, I mean, it's really enjoyable to me. I do listen to this a lot. I've watched the concert once. I think it's enough. I may have it on my computer and the bigger screen when my children are here for Christmas or something. But anyway, I'm listening to this one a lot in the morning, and it's quite comforting, it's quite safe. And if you feel stressed, I mean, not necessarily David Gilmour, but you know, the one music that feels like home to you, that's the sound of your happy years. It's a good idea, it's a very good idea. Next, I want to talk about Tame Impala. He's published a new CD. I think I've talked about this one. This one was a present by my son Paulin, and this one is Currents. And this is how I discovered Tame Impala. I haven't bought any of his CDs other than the last one. I guess I should, because I've listened to them on rotation. I listened to everything once. I got this one when I saw this one. This one is Deadbeat. I think that's the name. Yes, Deadbeat. That's the name. And so he's, if I'm not mistaken, I will write it down. I don't know if it's, I think he's from Australia, but I'm not sure. Please don't be mad at me if not, and if he's not from Australia, I will write it down below. And there is a bit of electro type of beat in this CD. So if it's not your cup of tea, you won't like that. But it's really interesting to me. I like what he does. I like his voice. It's quite unique. He has a unique universe, like many composers and people who play music. But he has a unique universe. I like his voice. Once again, it's safe music, and I do listen to that a lot too. Also in the morning, also when I'm knitting, and I did appreciate a lot this album, and I'm going to buy whenever I buy online, or when I'm going to go to the city, I'm going to be ordering for picking up in a store if it's not available in their store. And I really appreciate what he does. I'm very happy that my son did recommend Tame Impala. Okay, next. Another oldie and goodie. I went to see them last summer when they came to the little music festival next to my village. And it's the Black Keys, and in particular Delta Cream, and the other one is Dropout Boogie. These two ones are not quite the usual Black Keys, so they are from the US. Regular rock and roll, I would say. Interesting, very loud and very rhythmic and everything. What I love about Delta Cream, it's that kind of sleazy, bluesy type of music from the Mississippi Delta, I guess. That's what they refer to. And this one, the Dropout Boogie, is more like boogie type of music, but they also ventured into doing not really what they are used to, and I like it a lot. This was a recommendation by my brother-in-law. I'm not even sure if he did not offer them to me for a Christmas or something like that. Anyway, I'm sure I did discover them, these two albums, with him, and I did already know the Black Keys, and I had their first CD and a couple more, but I had not listened to these ones. And once again, this is safe music. This is music I enjoy, I like, and whenever I'm stressed, and not only stressed, I have eczema back onto my lips. Last couple nights ago, I woke up at midnight and I could not go back to sleep before 6 o'clock in the morning. This is also why I'm knitting a lot. I'm knitting at night when I can't sleep. But it induces, when you don't sleep enough, it induces a lot of stress, and I guess this is why I'm falling back also onto comfortable music to me. And these ones are really cheering me up more than just being comfortable. Okay, next, recommendations that came by Laurent Garnier. Laurent Garnier, I'm sure I've already talked about him. I love really what he does. He's a DJ, but he has also a lot of knowledge about all of the electronica music from when it did emerge and became trance and dance and stuff like that. And he wrote a book. Someone made a movie with him about his early years and everything. He was at the beginning of the trance movement. And now he has, I'm sure I've said that already, a podcast on FIP, FIP, which is a French public broadcast radio. And I will link it down below. I'm not sure you can listen to it outside of France. I have no idea. You will have to try. And once a month, he comes for 2 hours and a half, to talk about all of the new releases that have caught his attention. And he also talks about electronica music, but it's mostly music. He plays music, and he has a collection of, I don't recall how many he said, 70,000, I think, CDs and vinyl and stuff. He needs a whole house to store it anyway, and he has much knowledge. He's very knowledgeable. And last year I did listen to him a lot. I did listen to all of his podcasts. I think he airs between September and June, and he started to air also this year. So the next ones I'm going to be talking about have been recommendations that I found and artists I heard about and found with his podcast, and he also publishes the list of what has been aired during the 2.5 hours. So it's very convenient to retrieve an artist that you do not know about when you have the whole list. So the first one is Brad Meldo. This is his last album, and this is the one that he played one of the pieces from this album. Brad Meldo is a pianist, and he's mostly a jazz pianist. But in this album, he ventures into other part of the mostly jazz music. There are some vocals on this one, when he usually doesn't have any vocal on his other albums. He has some saxophone and other, maybe trumpet and stuff like that. Other musicians with him. And this is also a very joyful album that I enjoy listening to a lot, and I thank, Laurent Garnier a lot for suggesting this album to me. And as I did listen to the other albums that he's made, I did get Highway Rider. I did not say the first one I've been talking about is Ride Into the Sun. I will link as usual, everything down below. And this one is Highway River. This is also one that I really enjoyed. I did not really enjoy enough the other ones that I want to have them with me. These two ones, yes. And I do listen to his other albums on Apple Music because I have a subscription, and that's, the way I listen to music most of the time. But this one, and in particular this album, is more easy listening than the other ones, because sometimes jazz music can be, like electronica music. It can be a very particular genre, and you have to have your ear trained to appreciate sometimes some of the albums. Not this one. This one is really easy to listen to, and it's smart music to me. I don't know if it exists, but I think, I also appreciate when artists talk to me as if I was not a dumb person, and this is what he's doing, and I enjoy that a lot. So Brad Meldo was one of the recommendations I got from Laurent Garnier. Two other one. So Web. So these are also jazz musicians. Web is a group, and this is the last album they have. It's Plexus. Web with their album Plexus. And I did listen to the other ones. I did not like them as much as Plexus, but this one I like a lot. Once again, it's a whole particular side of the or corner of the jazz music, and it's a very interesting album. Once again, it's a bit easy listening, but it's not really easy to listen to. They don't, take you by the hand and everything. At the same time, it's really easy to follow and be happy with this album. So, I did listen to the other ones, and this is my favorite one, and this is the one that I got. And the last recommendation by Laurent Garnier, this is an old one. It's from the 70s. I think this one is from 72. I don't recall if I'm mistaken, I will. No, it's 2012. But it's older tunes that they are playing. And if it's not 2012, I will write down below. It's Birth of the Cool Funk. So Miles Davis has an album, for all the glare, for all the reflections, has an album that is Birth of the Cool, and I haven't been looking into. I may do that when I'm editing the video, because I'm not sure. I think there are some Miles Davis tunes in there, but not sure it's all Miles Davis. But anyway, it's with a funk vibe, and I love funk. I think it's very happy music. It cheers me up once again, and it's so nice to listen to. So there are other albums that I could not get as far as CDs. I can listen to them online. I'm still looking for the other ones. There are several others, and they have done other things too. And once again, it's smart music with a rhythm that is really making me very happy whenever I need to be cheered up and I'm tired or I am in pain or something. This is the perfect musical medicine to me. And if in the morning I'm a bit, fussy and I did not sleep much, or I'm not in the good mood, I play this one and I'm in a good mood in the next minute. So, Birth of the Cool Funk. And so it says vintage jams and serious grooves, and there is the list of the people there and of the authors too. And yeah, I do recommend that one a lot. And there are, if you look for other album like this one, there are at least one other, maybe two, nice morning or Sunday morning music if you have time to take your breakfast and you need something very entertaining and cheering up. Okay, next, a recommendation by Apple Music. You see, I've discovered a lot of things by and through other people or networks. And I do like that because I kind of listen to a lot of what Apple Music recommends me based on my own listening. And the recommendations are not always the best. I like the way they create their playlist. There are a lot of them that I listen to and I do enjoy. But the recommendation for the new music, not that much. I have to dig and listen to a lot of things I don't like that much. But anyway, maybe I could tweak the algorithm saying I don't like this and I prefer that. I don't do it, I just let it be. And so this one, when I saw it as a new release by The Orb, I immediately went into listening to it and I ordered it because I've been loving what The Orb does for a long time. Once again, it's not very abstract music. There is a rhythm, there is a story, there is something you can follow, but he has his own universe, and his own universe is very particular. I love what he's doing. It's one of a kind, once again. And you see, I like one of a kind. It's one of a kind, and I've been enjoying this one. And of course, I've been revisiting the other albums I have of him and what he's published that I do not have because I can't get the CDs or something. And yes, I had maybe forgotten a bit about him. And I'm very happy Apple Music suggested, or that he published a new album and Apple Music suggested it to me. So yes, that's The Orb. So the album is Buddhist Hipsters and whatever. I do appreciate what he does a lot. Okay, next, and I'll be looking at my screen because I don't have an album, and I will place, I'm not sure I can place, I will place the links down below, of course. I'm not sure I can place the album cover as a picture somewhere. I don't know if I have the right to do that. I don't have the album because I haven't been looking for it yet. And once again, it is a recommendation by my son Paulin, who is a musician. And he was the one who recommended me or made me discover Eliane Radig. Last time I talked about it, several of you said that you were very interested in Eliane Radig and Niels Fram, for example, as there are people who do some kind, what he calls drone music that is very slow, sometimes one note that is held for a long time. And when my mind is going 1,000 miles an hour or 1,000 kilometers an hour, and I'm circling into my thoughts, this type of music, and when I'm very worried about what's happening in the world, this type of music is able to focus me back on maybe my knitting or my reading or just listening to the music and not letting my mind be invaded by all of these negative thoughts. And some of you said that it was the same for you and that you did appreciate a lot the recommendation because it was doing the same for you. When I told my son, I talked about you, Eliane Radig, your recommendation, and so I did get La Trilogie de la Mort. some of her other albums are a bit difficult, more difficult to listen to. And I said, some people from the YouTube channel said they really did enjoy this recommendation. And he said, okay, if they enjoyed Eliane Radig, they may enjoy William Basinski. So he's from California, from the US, and he also makes electronica music. And he said to me, just listen to the disintegration loops. And so this is what I did when I went for a walk today before I shower and start the recording. And this album in particular, I haven't listened to the other ones, is more than drone music. We did not talk about the type of music, so this is just my interpretation. I may be completely out of scale and out of range, and I'm talking about things I don't know about. But this music to me is not drone music with one note that is held over a long time and over several pieces and stuff like that. This is more, as the title says, it's a loop. So it's a loop of music that comes back and comes back. It's slow. There are very subtle differences between one loop and the other. I did not listen to the whole album because I went for a walk for about 30 minutes and the album was not finished. So I will listen to the rest and what he's done, other albums that he's done. So after talking to my son about the disintegration loops, he told me a bit of the story. The story is that it is a tape with a very short music that has been looped in the Basinski's piece. And it was retrieved a very long time after it was generated and recorded. And Basinski played it until the tape disintegrated, as the title says, and the music stops playing, and you hear scratches, and the quality of the sound gets worse and worse and worse. And it is kind of an expression or a way to present how our world can go down until there is nothing else to listen to. And it's a very deep piece that prompted a lot of people to think a lot about music. What I'm going to say just next in the video is that I tried to get the CDs or his production in a way or in another. It's not available, or it can be available at a very, very, very high price. But I think there will be a new issue of the CD coming the beginning of 2026. So if you are interested, you will be able maybe to order it, because it's a very, as my son said, a fundamental piece in the electronica music world. I will see if I can buy it. I'm not sure I can buy it. I may, write on the screen here if I did get it or not after, I've finished the video recording and when I'm editing the video. And I really enjoy also what he's doing. This is a bit different. There is a bit more movement than drone music, but this looping thing, the one that comes back and again, is also very soothing to me. You may think it's itching you the wrong way, itching you where you don't want to be itched, you don't want to scratch. But the thing is, to me, it's this circle of music that comes back and comes back and comes back and comes back is very soothing, and I did appreciate a lot walking and listening to it. So I'm sure I have not been taken on my knitting, but I'm sure I will enjoy a lot also knitting with this album and this author and maybe other albums I will listen to them, and I will say, maybe write it here or at a later date if I did get the CDs, and if I did like what he did, the other albums that he did. This one, the Disintegration Loops, is the one that he is recommended as being his main piece. So there you have it. So another recommendation by my son, and if you do appreciate it, please please tell me down below, because I'm sure you will enjoy when I tell him they liked it. Okay, next, series on Apple TV, because I've cancelled every other things that I was subscribed to. Slow Horses. I watched the last season, which is season number 5. I liked it. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. I think the first season was so surprising and so good to me. The story was so unique and original and stuff like that, that the other seasons, including that one, are not up to par with my emotions from the first one. It's as good as it is, but in a way it's always the same thing. You know that the losers will win because they are the smartest. It's okay. So once again, it's a terrorist story. There are some terrorists doing things in London, and MI5 is unable to solve the situation, and Slaughterhouse do solve it without any technology, very low technology, with losers who are, very skillful and resourceful, and some people get lost along the way. Yeah, it was okay, but it was not as nice as the first one that I really, really, really enjoyed. I'm also loosely following the same. It's the same to me. The Morning Show and The Last Frontier. Same to me. They are not very up to par. They are just entertaining. Not many surprises, not very interesting. So I have to say that I have not been watching many series altogether, because there is nothing that really captivates me, and I've cancelled, all of my other subscriptions, and that's the way it is. I mostly watch YouTube and YouTube knitting channels, and I'm mostly listening to music. That's what I do when I knit. So Game of Wool, I've watched it on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm not going to be linking it because I'm not sure it's an official. It's on YouTube, but I'm not sure it's an official release, because at first it was said that you could only listen to it on if you were located in the UK. I do agree with a lot of the criticism about Game of Wool. Fair Isle with huge needles and chunky wool. Okay, it's a game. Some have to go on a regular basis. Some have to team up. Will there be treason? It's okay. Di Gilpin is on it, and I kind of like. I have a book of hers, and yeah, maybe it will make more people be aware of knitting, but I'm not sure that knitting with such chunky wool is something that would do any good to the knitting world and the knitting community. because when people are going to be trying, they will see that with big wool like that, you don't do as many things as. But anyway, that's another story. Will I watch other episodes if they become available on YouTube? I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. I want to watch for just being curious. It's okay. It's a game. I'm not watching any games. So that's not much of my vibe. I don't like people to be, thrown out every so often because they failed or they did not as good as the other ones on this type of task or something. It's okay. It's okay. If you like it, perfect. Good to you. I will finish with one movie. This movie, this is the first movie I went to see after I could drive. And this movie has stayed with me for at least 2 or 3 days. It was like a punch in the stomach, a punch in my head. And if you do not want to be punched like that, and if you do not want something that will be so unexpected, so sad, so violent, violent, don't go see it. It's Sirat. Sirat is by Olivier Lax and it's with Sergi Lopez. I like both of them. And what I liked a lot was the soundtrack that is by Kanding Ray. So you can listen to it on any of the platforms. So maybe you can go listen to the music. I've been listening to the music of the movie, the soundtrack, on a heavy rotation for the next 2-3 days after I watched the movie, because I could not separate myself from what I had seen on screen. It was that violent. And so the story is a father and his son, so Sergi Lopez and his son, who go to Morocco because they are looking for his older daughter. So the son is about maybe 10, 12, something like that. And his older daughter has been missing for several months, and for 5 months or something. And she was going to unregulated rave parties, rave concerts, and happening in places that were not allowed and everything. And she disappeared, and he's looking for her with his son and his dog. And so I'm not going to tell anything else about that. It's a part of their journey into looking for his daughter and his sister, so daughter and sister. And I did not see any of what happened coming. And I'm usually pretty good at knowing what will happen in a movie. And if I do guess the end of the movie, even if the movie is good and I enjoy it, I always keep a negative taste in my mouth because I could guess the ending and they did not surprise me. They surprised me in a kind of a terrible way. I'm sure that you're going to think, oh, I'm not going to see this movie. Yeah, you should go see the movie, knowing that I did receive punches in my stomach and the movie stayed with me for at least 2-3 days. I've been listening to the music. If I could have bought the CD, I would have. But it's only on digital music or vinyl, so I don't have anything to listen to vinyls, and I don't like the that you get into vinyls after a while. I'm from the era where I had to buy several times in a row the same vinyl because it was ruined by listening to it. So I understand the vibe, and it was the better in the old days that everybody now is back to buying vinyls and stuff like that, and it sounds better. I think my digital devices play music better to my ears than the vinyl that after a while is doing on some places, or don't go don't go ahead because there is a scratch. Anyway, I could not buy the CD because it doesn't exist, and if it had existed, I would have bought it. So part of the music is very meditative and very slow, and part of the music is the type of music you can have in rave parties. So it's trance music and stuff like that. The combination of the two, the pictures that of the movie that lingers with the sound, all of that. It was a bit traumatic at the beginning, but now I'm listening to the music from time to time. And so it's been, it's been 2, 3 weeks since I went to see it, and I'm still listening to the soundtrack from time to time. And now all of the painful part has calmed down, and I just do enjoy listening to this album, which is very, very good in my opinion. And if you do go see the movie, please tell me what you think about it in the comments down below. Okay, so there you have it, my friends. What I've been listening to and watching as I was knitting, minus the one movie I went to the movie theater to watch it and I could not knit while I was watching. So I hope you enjoyed that little video. It's late, I'm hungry. What's new? Please, if you do have recommendations to make for other people to listen to or watch when you are knitting, please tell me down below, and tell us down below, because I think many of us would be very interested into knowing what you are watching and what you are listening to, if you do listen to music, or if you are watching series and stuff like that while you are knitting, other than knitting podcasts. Because recommendation for knitting podcasts, I've made a few. They are all over the internet. They are quite successful videos, but I mean, you can see what for yourself, what you like and what you don't. But anyway, please tell me and tell us down below what you are listening to and watching when you are knitting. The way my son did and other people did make recommendations to me, and I did enjoy them. I'm sure there are some jewels out there that I do not know about, and I will be very happy to know about. And if I may, before I leave, a little life and health update. I'm doing better, even though you've heard me say that I have very bad insomnias. I think I'm out of sync, because I even if I do wake myself up with the alarm clock, not after 8 in the morning. I need maybe to wake up a bit earlier. 7:30 would be good, maybe. Because maybe I'm not tired enough during the day, and I end up not being sleepy at night. Or I get sleepy very early in the evening because I don't want to take a nap, and I'm very tired by 8, 9 o'clock. I go to bed, and then 3 hours later I'm awake. I've had 3, 4 hours of sleep. It's midnight and I can't sleep any longer. So that has been a bit stressful to me. I think it's also why I have some eczema around my mouth, the pain and the lack of sleep. And fortunately I'm not working, and I need to adjust my schedule. I have 1 month to adjust my schedule, or even less than a month now, before I go back to work. I need to do that now, I think, because I need to face myself better with the working hours. As far as pain comes and pain goes. Today was a day without too much pain. I could go walk for half hour in my village. When I went back home, it was time for me to be back home, but I was not, in so much pain that I was considering not coming back home on my own. I could go, and I think I will have placed a little snippet of it at the beginning of the video. I could go to my beloved seaside and beloved beach. I did go walk for 15 minutes one way because I have to go back, so that would have been 30 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I was feeling good. And I was thinking, oh, let me push it a bit. And I said, no, go back. If when I'm back at the car, after 30 minutes, I feel good, I will go the other way and we'll see. Fortunately, I did go back because after 30 minutes, I was very tired and the pain was here. So I was happy. I did not push it, and I did listen to my reasonable self and went back to my car so that after 30 minutes, I was okay. This morning, when I went for the walk, I could have walked more than half hour. So I think next time I go for a walk, I think I will go in my village and I will take a longer loop so that maybe I will go walk for 40 or 45 minutes and see how it goes so that I can experiment outside of the village for longer walks. And if I said in my village, because there are public transportations in my village. So if I take my bus card with me, I can go back by bus. I can go back home by bus if I need to. So I may do that. So you see, it's getting better and it's very slow to me. I would like it goes much faster and that I do that and in an instant I'm feeling better, which is not the case. Most probably because of my neuropathic pain after all, and also inflammation and stuff like that. It's a mix of symptoms. Nobody can really tell me what happens. So what I did for the last 3-4 nights, I did use these patches that I used to use last year when I have serious neuropathic pain. They are as big as my hand. And it's a patch with a gel type of patch with an anti-inflammatory and a local anesthetic into it. You can't wear that more than 12 hours a day, and you can't wear more than 2 per day. Last year at the beginning I was having 4 per day per 12 hours. So that's not the case. There is that one spot and that one muscle that is so painful and that is giving me a lot of misery. When I put the patch on it, I can sleep. And the other night I said, okay, I'm feeling good. I don't put the patch on it and I will be able to sleep. No, wrong. I did wake up and I was in. So I put the patch at 3 in the morning after being awake for a while. And it took me another 3 hours to go back to sleep. So I went to sleep. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. That's the way it is. I guess that's what the recovery is. It goes that way. It's not a perfectly smooth curve, but all in all, I am doing much better. I wanted to film another video, but it's too late. I do that tomorrow or at another date because I could drive to a little yarn festival 2 hours away from me, where not in the village where Atelier Paulin is, Frédéric is, but a nearby village. It's also 2 hours drive. It's a one-woman show. The woman who organized it with the little village, and the weather was fine. There were a lot of people. She invites her friends to be there. There were 4 rooms with people with yarn and many other things. And there was one specific room with activities for children and stuff like that. So I'm gonna make the video about that, and also the little pop-up store I went to a couple weeks ago. I did get a lot of yarn. to my standards. I did get yarn, and more than what I had anticipated, and I had a plan, and I did not follow my plan. So I may not get any yarn for myself for Christmas because I have already too much. But that's gonna be for a later day, a later video. It's getting dark, I'm hungry, it's late, and my hair is dry. So, this is the moment I need to sign off. I thank you a lot for being here with me. I hope these little recommendations will lighten up your day, lighten up your knitting session, that they will bring you joy and happiness, and that your knitting is bringing you joy and happiness, because it's not coming all by itself, and we need to create it for ourselves when we are knitting, for example. So yes, I do hope you manage to do that, and I thank you a lot for being here with me, and I hope I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. Because as I'm out of work for now, as I am not working for now, I am. He is so rare. Well, what happened is that he made the whole once again, I forgot to turn off my screensaver and stuff. So what I was saying is that, okay, next one that I interesting album. Once again, they do not. Next, I'll be looking at my screen because I don't have the album, because a couple of you said that when I did recommend Eliane Radig last time with drone music, that is music that has one note that goes for a long time, and I think next time you can come if you want, but don't step on the computer and stuff, and don't drink into my water.